Welcome, everyone, to the HTL Challenger Series. From Kentucky Speedway, HTL returns to our home playground here tonight, June 16th. It's the ABN Creative 250 here on ABN. For those watching live on YouTube or Patreon, welcome to the club here in the Bluegrass State. Welcome home. We're glad you're with us here for a wonderful Tuesday night of racing. Let's jump into it. No time like the present. The standings right in front of you. Josh Susie, Christina Ryan, Eli Sasek. It's battle the top three here entering Kentucky Speedway. Brady Smith fourth. Blake Henderson top five in points ahead of Blue Jay. David Smeal Jr., Byron Jones, Alfred Denny, Ryan Moutre, Dakota Osborne, John Matthews. If the chase for the Challenger Series championship began today, this is what the top 12 would look like. This is what that chase would look like, with Susie out in front. Don't expect it to stay that way, though. Some big-time faces on the outside looking in. Dustin Hall in 13th, just on the outside of that cut line. Casey Ellis, Bobby Blowers, they're top 15. Josh Gaiman running part-time in 16th. He is present tonight in that 61 machine, I do believe. Maybe wrong on that. No, yeah, all four of them are present. The 61 and the 31, Kevin Gibney Jr. are both present here. Ignore that. DJ Anderson in 17th, June Jimenez in 18th, coming straight off of a win for the first time in Fontana a week ago. Climbing rapidly up the order. 2 races already up to 18th place in the point standings. Wesley Worley, Marcus Chafin, Mark Parkhurst, Bryce Borer, and Bailey Thompson not full-time in the running there at the moment, but rounding up the top 34 or top 24 in the points going into tonight's event. Qualifying is not far from being completed here in Kentucky Speedway. Jimenez coming out onto the racetrack right now. Everyone's got a singular lap time to see what they can post. Lap starting now. Dustin Hall present. Just coming out to the racetrack as well. Josh Susie, provisional pole with a 30.83. We'll see what Jimenez can put together. Hot off her win a week ago. 2, 3, and 4 for June. Great month to pick up a win. Missed out on that pun in Fontana a week ago. Jimenez across the line. 30.934. Not the worst time in the world. Third fastest. Gets ahead of Christina Ryan. '16-time Cup Series pole sitter Dustin Hall. Rolling around on the racetrack at the moment. Henderson tagged the fence. Wesley Worley, so did he. They'll start at the back of this field. 19th and 20th in the field. Dustin Hall completing his lap. Is this good enough for pole position? No, it is not. 6th fastest for Dustin Hall, 30.984. And that will bring qualifying to a close here tonight. In between qualifying and the race, we got a little bit of warm-up, so we'll take this chance to shout out some of our premier tier subs on Patreon. Appreciate all your support. If you're on this list, you're subscribed to our $10 per month tier. Huge shout out to Trade Ups Logan, Dogman2935, Eli Sasek, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J Paul, and Jake Protek. We'll have to update the months that they've been subscribed at some point when time and health become available. But shout out to everyone that's been a part of that premier tier. If you're on the ABN Plus tier on Patreon, your name's at the bottom as well. It's in the ticker that runs throughout the entire race. We appreciate all your support here on Patreon. If you happen to want to have your name shouted out live during every broadcast we do here on ABN, the QR code, as well as if you're watching on YouTube, the description down below can help get you started. I have a lot of fun things planned next month for ABN's anniversary. We were founded July 26th in 2018. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how things pan out here. But we have some fun anniversary things coming up here next month as well. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. A lot of those anniversary things will be exclusive on Patreon. So, or at least they'll be advanced released on Patreon. They'll have early access. We do appreciate everyone tuning in and spending time with us, though. It is greatly appreciated. Practice currently underway. This is warm-up. Focusing on Dustin Hall at the moment. Second fastest currently in warm-up. Everyone's going to be practicing pit entries here, it looks like. Moutre also has some race pace, it could look like, here for the 44. He's had some decent pace. Just hasn't quite panned out the way he had hoped it would. Yeah, Eli Sasek there, rolling around right now. And the number 9 machine just now getting onto the racetrack. Blake Henderson just now leaving pit lane, getting his practice in. The drivers complained about these trucks being a little tight, but tire being super important, very similar to what people were concerned about with Fontana a week ago. This track, though, a half mile shorter and a lot flatter. An asymmetrical racetrack is Kentucky Speedway. 14 degrees of banking here in turns 1 and 2. 11 degrees of banking in 3 and 4. It is the flattest 1.5 mile racetrack on the calendar. One of the flattest 1.5 mile racetracks in the United States. When this track was built back in 2000, both Las Vegas and Homestead were flatter. Both those tracks were reprofiled, given a lot more banking. Kentucky, in its reprofile, got less banking in 3 and 4. Josh Susie, your pole sitter. Part of the big news that came out today after the team missed the Cup Series race in Sonoma a week ago. The Gibney Racing Division withdrawing from the Cup Series due to scheduling conflicts and unavailability for its drivers was the immediate effect. The two-time Cup Series champion still racing in the Challenger Series, trying to do what no one has done before. And that is win both in the Challenger Series championship and the Cup Series. The two-time Cup Series champion, he leads the points going into the night and seems like a safe pick to continue that trend. Finished on the podium, finished third a week ago in California. So we'll see what happens with Josh Susie tonight. We'll see the team still racing, has all 4 trucks here tonight in the Challenger Series, and the team has committed that they will continue to be in the Challenger Series the remainder of the season. And the hope is that they return next season as well to race on Tuesday nights with us here on with HTL and ABN. Warm-up is over. Everyone's had one last chance to dial things in, practice your pit stops, and get ready to go. 104 laps. Stage 1 ends on lap 50. There are no stage breaks. We keep harping on it like it's a dead note here, but it is something we keep having to mention. When we mention stages, there are no stage breaks. That being said, it is time to go over the starting grid here in Kentucky Speedway, and let's start with the front row for the ABN Creative 250. Josh Susie, Dale Markowski, your front row here. Dale Markowski, not on a full-time schedule, far from it. The 33 car, though, looking fantastic. That Budweiser Chevrolet outside front row with Josh Susie. It's Dodge and Chevrolet at the front, leading the field to green. Your race winner from a week ago, June Jimenez, sitting in row 2 alongside six-time most popular driver for ABN, Christina Ryan. Third and fourth on the grid, Byron Jones and Dustin Hall sit in row number 3. Fifth and sixth for them. Byron Jones representing Orlando Outlaws. Dustin Hall representing Team Conti Center Performance. Davis Mill Jr., Eli Sasek, they're in row number 4. The top 10 rounded out by Kevin Gibney Jr., one of his best qualifying efforts here at Kentucky Speedway. Same goes for Mark Parker's, a couple of Cup Series veterans in row 5, having some pretty good qualifying results. They'll try to hold on to that in this race. Dakota Osborne and Brady Smith in row number 6 just missed out on the top 10 in qualifying. Josh Gaiman, the furthest back of the Gibney Racing Division teammates. Kentucky, not his strongest racetrack. He'll start alongside Alfred Denny tonight in that Danhausen Ford F-150. Ryan Moutre in the Buc-ee's Chevrolet starts alongside Blue Jade in that Woofle Motorsports, number 83, here tonight. Bailey Thompson starts alongside Blake Henderson, teammates for Tombstone Motorsports, in row number 9. They are not the last row of the grid. We have 20 trucks, 2 fewer than what we had in Las Vegas and Fontana, 2 more than what we saw in Atlanta. Casey Ellis and Wesley Worley will round out this 20-truck field here tonight. 2 formation laps underway. We are glad you are with us for HTL and ABN at the Challenger Series on Tuesday nights. A lot of drivers loving these trucks. See how everything plays out here. We had a wild race, an instant classic in Fontana a week ago. We'll see how that pans out here tonight. Susie Markowski at the front of the field. Some amazing looking race trucks here in the Bluegrass State. We're racing at home. This race sponsored by ABN Creative. That was the heart of the ABN community when we first started in 2018, doing stuff on NASCAR Race in 2003, WWE 2K. That's our role-playing community at its heart. Across all 3 factions of the community, both the Cyberpunk, the WWE, and the racing community, over 70 members make up the core of ABN, as it was when it was founded back in 2018. It's never gone away. One of our most cherished parts of our community, and we've expanded and spread out so far from that over the years. 104 laps. We come home here to the Bluegrass State, nestled right in between Louisville and Cincinnati. Just a stone's throw from the Ohio River in Gallatin County. Hopefully we get to see real-life racing back in Kentucky Speedway here in short order. But this will do for now, and it will do plenty well. 20 trucks that have been electric to watch all season so far. We'll see them go again. The pace truck is in, the green flag flies, and the ABN Creative 250 is underway. Lap 1 completed successfully under green, minimal fuss. Josh Susie leads the way, Jimenez in second. Been chipping away at qualifying, which was the 11's kryptonite the last couple weeks. Still won the race a week ago. As they all go down the back straightaway in the turns 3 and 4. This wider turns 3 and 4. It's flatter, but there's some progressive banking to it, so you can run different lanes a little bit more effectively than you would in 1 and 2. It's very inverted from what we see at Texas Motor Speedway, another track that's really asymmetrical in how its corners are designed. Markowski on the outside of Davis Munoz Jr. Scrapes the wall just a little bit, trying to keep momentum going as they sail into turns 3 and 4. Jimenez passed by Byron Jones, who has gotten to the second spot. He's found that early fire. And you see what Markowski, that was what we were talking about. Markowski, using that outer lane, was not gaining in turns 1 and 2. Actually almost lost the spot completely in turns 1 and 2. But gained it all back in 3 and 4. But you don't want to be on the outside for turns 1 and 2. You want to try to make the pass happen. Trouble, car in the wall early. That is Ryan Moutre and Dakota Osborne in trouble. And that looks like early retirements for both. Mark Parkhurst had issues early as well. I'm not sure if they're all related here. But trouble early here in Kentucky Speedway for Moutre, for Osborne, and for Parkhurst in the first 5 laps. And that does seem like Ryan Moutre is more than likely done for the day. And this is what happened from turn 1. It happens in front of Moutre, too. It looks like it starts with Parkhurst getting into Brady Smith. Around he goes. Nowhere for Osborne to go. Already committed to that outside lane. He's got cars to his left. He can only go right. And as for Moutre, gets a piece of it as well. The recoil from Osborne clipping the 44. Hard impacts for just about everyone involved in that. Do you want to go back and take a look here? And it looks like a little bit of contact. Christina Ryan was in the middle. It looks like they were trying to force a 3 wide situation to get around the 80, and it became 4 wide from high above. The 80 on the outside lane, not as fast up there. Nothing was ever really aligned. Christina Ryan very aware of where Henderson was coming on the outside lane. Henderson was running higher. She knew Hall was on the inside. That's where you see where Parkhurst gets a piece of the contact there. Osborne hits the 44. You see Moutre bounces off the door of the 83 and back up into the fence. So Josh Susie leads the way here in Kentucky early on. He's led all 5 laps completed so far. Top 5 did not come down pit lane. Susie, Jimenez, Smeal, Sasek, and Smith all stayed out. Go back racing here. Byron Jones came down pit lane, one of many. A lot of drivers coming with for fuel only here. Remember, last time we were at a mile and a half oval, Las Vegas, fuel was a concern. People made it to the lap 50 mark, but just barely. A lot of the drivers in this field right now taking fuel early, trying to get beyond lap 50 to try to put themselves in a position to score stage points. Only a couple took tires on that run. Henderson, Thompson, Ryan, and Alfred Denny all took tires there. Damage repair for, it looks like, Dustin Hall. I'm not sure if he actually got any contact or if he just sat there for a minute. Mark Parkhurst, Dakota Osborne all came down pit lane and had damage repair. They are all still circulating on the racetrack. Ryan Moutre, the only retirement in this race, down in 20th. This is how things pan out. So we get ready to go racing once again. First restart of the race with Susie and Jimenez at the front of the field. Smeal in third, and the teammates get a really good rocket start to get us back underway here in the Bluegrass State. Jimenez not expecting it, but the teammates also coordinating very well to get clear of the 11. Just remember how the green flag runs went not only in Las Vegas, but in Fontana as well. That 11 truck is going to still be a factor no matter what. It doesn't matter what the short run pace looks like. The long run pace, if you can get that long run in, that 11 truck, I should say, is second to none on long run pace. Talked to her in victory lane a week ago. That was her strength. She admitted it. Was trying to figure out the qualifying aspect and pretty well nailed it tonight. Qualified in third. As you have to drop out of the top 5, there's Byron Jones, who came down pit lane for fuel only. So there's no tire advantage for Byron Jones there, just a fuel advantage. He can go a little bit longer on fuel than the rest of the field. They're hoping that this race does have a longer green flag run now, because that will put them in the position to score more stage points. Sasic, fastest truck on the racetrack at the moment in the shadows of his teammate Brady Smith, as Smith takes the attack to David Smeal Jr. for the runner-up spot. 3 wide, almost further back. That was Henderson looking to the inside of Gaiman. Sorry, to the inside of Gibney. No, that is inside of Gaiman. Gaiman in the 31. I see Gibney also in the 31. Someone's goofed a little bit. Dustin Hall now fastest on the racetrack. But again, working through traffic, he did take fresher tires, as did Henderson. And Hall trying to work around Josh Gaiman now. Hall still working against Jimenez, who has dropped more spots here. Dropped down. Whoa, trouble. Truck in the fence. Was that Henderson? It was. The 25 goes fence side in turn 1. Looks like ran out of space there, battling with Markowski, with Jade, and with Thompson. Thompson battling to get into the top 10. Celebrating a birthday today. We're not going to sing happy birthday. A couple people asked in the comments or in the live chats. Not going to sing. Y'all don't pay for that. That is for sure. But we will wish Bailey Thompson a happy birthday. She's been a part of our community now for over 3 years. So happy birthday to the 27. As she battles with Jade and Markowski within the top 10 now and trying to move forward. Now looking at Josh Gaiman and that number 61 Mopar machine. Jimenez 7th, Byron Jones 6th, Dustin Hall with those fresher tires, taking a different strategy than what he saw in Las Vegas. Grab fresher tires and stay on them. Use what you got. Susie continues to lead, has that clean air. David Smith Jr. sitting in the 2nd spot. Teammates battling 3rd and 4th, Sasic and Brady Smith, as we come around to complete lap 15. Here in Kentucky Speedway. Dustin Hall going to put the Ascent crew 3 wide across our finish line. Very bumpy apron here at Kentucky Speedway. Not all the track was reconfigured. And Dustin Hall going to try to work that little yellow line to get up to 3rd place. Got very tight, though. Just about everyone did, though. You can see everyone getting very flirtatious with that outside wall. Sasic got squeezed out of the middle. He got squeezed backwards to 5th. And so now it's Hall versus Brady Smith battling for that 3rd spot. Brady Smith trying to hang on to the coattails of the one as they go side by side across our finish line. Smith crossed the line third. But we talked about the outside lane of 1 and 2. Has nothing really on the inside lane. Dustin Hall, though, getting really tight. Thinking he might have already overheated those front tires on that one truck. As Jimenez in the 11 trying to begin the climb back forward into the top 5 conversation. Still battling behind the 24 Byron Jones. And here comes Sasek down on the apron. You saw the bumps there. Dustin Hall going to try to give it a go. So Smith stays third, going to help his teammate with a little bit of slipstream into turn 3. Dustin Hall picking the lane where nobody else is at, grabs some clean air, pinches the door of the 9, gets to the bumper of the 95. And here comes Byron Jones as well in the 24. Jimenez also goes top side, as does Gaiman for turn 1 and 2. So they're thinking that this might actually work a little bit. Brady Smith got really tight through 1 and 2, had to get out of the gas all the way. And you see the cost of it. Drops numerous spots from 3rd now to 9th on one straightaway. And they're still going at it. Thompson battling with Smith now for that 8th spot. Markowski, Gibney, Jade. Looks like Henderson's back in this conversation. Christina Ryan's in this conversation again, as is the 21 Alfred Denny. You have to look a little bit further back to Wesley Worley, Mark Parkhurst, Casey Ellis 5 seconds back from the race leader, and Dakota Osborne with a lot of damage, already in danger of going a lap down in the next 10 laps, if not sooner. But everyone's together at the moment. Susie out in front with the clean air. Clean air is king. We've seen that so many times in this truck. It's what made Dustin Hall so hard to pass in Las Vegas. But he's now up to 3rd. He's had a chance now to rebalance, cool those tires off a little bit, stretch his legs, and then dive back in and fight for it again. And remember, the longer this run goes, the better it is for those that came down pit lane on lap 5 to grab some fuel and, in Dustin's case, some tires. It'll pay out for him a little bit. Dustin Hall, he's marked as a Chevrolet, but he's in a Dodge. He switched up on us a couple weeks ago. But he's back in that conversation. Actually, no, he is in a Chevrolet. He's been back and forth between Dodge and Chevrolet, and he's just not told us. Last time we saw him, he was in a Ram, which would have been Vegas. Now he's back in a Chevrolet, working the bottom of the racetrack into the bumper of the 10. With Dustin in a Chevrolet, we do have a camera set for him. Up into the fence goes Dustin Hall right as we rode on board with him. Davis Smith Jr. really pinching the door tight. Dustin Hall had to really back out of it there. The Utah native going to give it another shot. Would not be surprised if there's a little bit of payback here. Drives deep into the corner. Tries to keep it tidy on the exit. As we're right on board with the 16-time Cup Series pole sitter. You hear how much off-throttle time there is here at Kentucky Speedway. This track is deceptively flat. Dakota Osborne, that little blip up in the distance. The race leaders will have to come up across him here in the next couple laps. As we come around to start lap 25. The sun, the glare out of turn 4 is a problem right now. It won't be a problem for too much longer. This race will eventually end in lights as the sun sets beyond the Bluegrass Hills that act as a fortress from the Ohio River. Dustin Hall rolling around right now in the 3rd spot. Jimenez back up into 4th. Josh Gaiman in the top 5 now. He's up 8 spots. 3 drivers up 8 spots. Gaiman, Henderson, and Thompson all up 8 spots at the moment. as we complete 25 laps of this race. Completing lap 26 gets us a quarter distance through the race here in the ABN Creative 250. Christina Ryan, another car that grabbed fresh tires on pit stops there on lap 5. Those tires beginning to come good for the 80 truck as she gets around Byron Jones for 7th. Jones now sitting in 8th. Thompson in 9th, the birthday driver from Alabama, sitting in the top 10 ahead of Alfred Denny. Blake Henderson 11th, currently the odd one out. 21 of the 25 running WWE paint schemes. Very fitting, given the sponsor of this race being ABN Creative. Alfred Denny with the Danhausen truck. Danhausen's been all the news since the New York Knicks won the NBA Finals. Blake Henderson running the Rhea Ripley machine that we've seen in different looks across both the Challenger Series and the Cup Series. And the Cup Series has been more purple. Here it's the red and black. Gibney in 13th, Blue Jade in 14th place. Markowski, that's up to the 11th spot. That Budweiser 33 on the move. Josh Soucy, Davis Miller Jr., Dustin Hall, June Jimenez, your top 4. Josh Gaiman, your top 5. And there's a contest for that 4th spot between Jimenez and Gaiman. Sasek in 6th. Christina Ryan in 7th. Byron Jones in 8th. Bailey Thompson 9th. Blake Henderson, middle of a 3-wide sandwich as Blue Jade goes through into the 11th spot. Henderson stays 12th. Markowski drops to 13th. And here comes Gibney in the equation as well. Brady Smith in 15th. Parkhurst in 16th. Hanging in there. Casey Ellis in 17th. Wesley Worley in 18th place. The Orlando Outlaws team manager on the lead lap at the moment. Dakota Osborne officially a lap down at this junction. Here comes the battle for second place. Dustin Hall's gotten to the inside of Davis Mule Jr. Smeel drives off pretty well through turn 3 and 4. And the more that they battle, the more Josh Soucy gets to waltz away with 20 laps to go in stage number 1. Henderson battling with Thompson. Teammates battling for the top 10 spots here. As Alfred Denny works up into the top 8. There he goes around Byron Jones. Jones slipping away just a little bit. I think he burned up his tires a little bit in this run. Those that took tires beginning to really blossom here later on in this run. Dustin Hall has stalled out just enough for the teammates at the front of the field to keep rolling. Watching this battle continue to take place here. Dustin Hall under a little bit more pressure now from Josh Gaiman, who's gotten around Jimenez. Jimenez down to 5th at the moment. Sasek up to 6th. As they continue to run along here. Christina Ryan up into the top 7 and in this conversation. But it's all about Josh Susie, who leads the way. And leads the way now by about a second and a half. Doing an outstanding job in this event. Josh Gaiman getting around Dustin Hall here. Dustin Hall trying to hang on to that 3rd spot the best he can, but Josh Gaiman, I think, saved his tires a decent amount. Josh Gaiman came down pit lane as well. He came down with fuel only, so he did not get a tire advantage. He has just saved his tires better than Dustin Hall has. If you talk to Dustin Hall, he'll tell you tire saving not his strength. And we're seeing that now. Dale Markowski back down to 13th place, losing out to Gibney, Henderson, and Jones as they battle amongst themselves. Thompson and Byron Jones. I think I already said Byron Jones, but they're all in that conversation, as is Blue Jade. Alfred Denny's pulled a second on him, though. He is now up in the 8th place and feels pretty set right now. Six trucks in this battle for second place. Gaiman goes up to 3rd. Whoa, Sasek! Hard in the inside wall, I believe. Doesn't look actually so bad. I thought he slammed. I thought he pancaked that wall. Came off the nose of Dustin Hall. All right. That was a wild one. Somehow Eli Sasek's still continuing on. So is Dustin Hall. I'm not sure how much damage either of them have. You can see a little bit on the 9. On that left side, the driver's side. A little bit beat in on the front. But still rolling. Cars down pit lane, Markowski and Osborne. Standard service from Markowski. He goes a lap down. Osborne may also be standard service here. The group is dispatched. Davis Muir Jr. from this group. Alfred Denny's now up to 6th. Dustin Hawley and Sasek after their contact. They're both down the running order and losing spots more and more. So I would assume if there's significant damage on the 9, there is equal and more significant on the 1 because they're both dropping together. Sasek just up into Henderson. Henderson trying to get around Dustin Hall now, as Brady Smith did. Sasek trying to play defense, stop the bleeding. There's not a whole lot he can do. He doesn't have a tourniquet. A tourniquet would be a race car that's not damaged. He doesn't have that anymore. Jimenez up to the 2nd spot. Long run pace is beginning to show on the 11 truck again. Gaiman back around Jimenez. We watched that as he took aside for a moment. Gaiman in 2nd, Ryan in 3rd, Jimenez in 4th. They have about a second on Davis Muir Jr., who is under threat. Sorry, never mind. That's lap traffic getting around at the moment. I believe that's Brady Smith. It is. Brady Smith came down pit lane. We saw that. So he's trying to undercut here. We'll see if it works out for him. They are vulnerable to a caution. If a caution were to come out before the pit stop cycle is complete, they'd be in trouble. Susi leads the way by 3 seconds. They have battled amongst themselves so hard that he is for a 3-second gap. Brady Smith working his way forward. Gaiman giving him space in turns 3 and 4. Susi won stage 1 on lap 50 pretty convincingly over Gaiman, Ryan, Jimenez, and Smeal. That was your top 5. How far can everyone go? Is the next big question. Halfway is completed here. Susi in now. Christina Ryan, now the race leader. All of the Gibney Racing Division teammates came down pit lane together, all 4 of them. Eli Sasek, Mark Parkhurst also came down pit lane together. They got to the halfway point and said that was good enough. Those that stayed out, they can go a little bit longer. Jimenez is going a little bit longer, despite having also not come down pit lane. Jimenez down pit lane this time. Very interesting to see how this is playing out. The GRD cars, Susie, Smeal, Gibney, Gaiman, they came down pit lane early. As soon as they could, lap 53. The Tombstone cars, which came down pit lane on lap 5, going longer. Team strategy games taking place right now. Dustin Hall down pit lane. Battle between Henderson and there's Josh Gaiman going back through. Gaiman trying to get his lap back here. We'll say for a brief moment, Dale Markowski will potentially be... No, Brady Smith will be potentially race leader here. This will be the battle for the race lead for the moment, once everyone comes down pit lane. Ellis is in, Denny is in, Thompson is in, Henderson is in. And in comes Ryan as Susie gets his lap back. These two, Markowski and Smith, will have to come down pit lane a second time. Brady Smith came down pit lane on lap 34. He's doing a fuel stop strategy pretty well and truly. I think Markowski might be as well. Markowski takes over the lead now. For those on the one-stop strategy, of which most of the field are, Christina Ryan will have the best tires of that group. And out of pit lane, she came in 8th place, ahead of Mark Parkhurst, ahead of Eli Sasek. Despite the damage, no repairs taken for Sasek or for Hall. They remain running as they are. Sasek in 10th, Hall in 14th. Byron Jones unlaps himself from the race leader, Markowski, out in front. Our third different race leader tonight. Markowski, Smith, Susie, Gaiman, Jimenez, Smeal, Gibney, Ryan, Parkhurst, and Denny for top 10. Brady Smith getting around Josh Susie. Minimal issue there. Susie on way better tires right now than Smith. Much like in Fontana a week ago, I don't think the alternate strategy is going to quite work out. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Smith, if he's on the two-stop and he's doing what I think he's doing, he's coming down pit lane in 5 laps. Came down pit lane lap 34. Lap 67 would be the next reasonable guess for the 95. And reasonably, that makes sense if you're Brady Smith. You want to give yourself time to make up those spots and try to get a lap back if you can. Susie came down pit lane on lap 53. He'll have some of the oldest tires of those on the one-stop strategy. As Josh Gaiman goes through for third. Jimenez is next up, but has a little bit of work to do. Stayed out a couple laps longer and came down pit lane on lap 55. So Jimenez trying to catch up. Currently, of those on the one stop, this is a podium spot for Jimenez after winning in Fontana a week ago. Susie finished third, Jimenez won. Now they flip position so far if things hold as they are. Battle further back as well as Susie's gone up to Markowski, and this will be a pretty quick exchange for the race lead. Repulsor will go back out in front in the 81 truck, looking for his third win this season. And there's not much doubt. Josh Susie back out in front. Parkhurst, Denny, Ryan, and Billy Thompson all in this group. About 2 seconds and change from KJ Gibney, from Kevin Gibney Jr. Gibney sitting in the 7th spot. Christina Ryan, freshest tires of those on the one-stop strategy. Going to try to reel in the 31 and the 10. Alfredetti's having a good run so far. He's had several good runs this season. Top 10 in points for a reason. He's not been bad. I'd say he's been quite exceptional in the trucks. Everyone's looked at the trucks as a bit of a refreshing change of pace. 20 trucks on track. 18 still circulating, make that 17. Retirement now for Dakota Osborne gives us 17 still circulating. Alfredini looking for his third top 10 in 6 races. We'll see what he can do. Brady Smith is coming down pit lane. Went a few laps longer, went to lap 70, but it is a pretty even 2-stop race for Brady Smith. Not unsurprising for the 95 at all. Markowski will have to do the same at some point. He's lost out to Josh Gaiman, a very familiar face from the High Octane Truck Series on Saturdays. Markowski, a champion in the trucks over on High Octane. Using an alternate strategy to try to gain some spots. See what he can do. Brady Smith back out on the racetrack. Pretty straightforward pit stop for the 95. Christina Ryan being shadowed by Gibney. They're both closing in on Gibney and Smeal. Gibney's right there. They've got him within a second. And Ryan is faster right now than Susie. Last time around, we'll pull up the comparisons. Last time around, 32.1 for Christina Ryan. Josh Searcy, 32.5. 4/10 faster a lap. Now, that's not fast enough to catch up and challenge for the race win. That is fast enough to maybe contend for a podium. But you got to be consistent on that. We'll see this time around. Yeah, there you go. Even faster, 31.9 in the drafts. Working around Gibney now. Gibney a little tight there in one. But Christina Ryan goes through. No issues there. Now it's on Denny to do the same. And he gets to the inside for 3 and 4. And I think he's going to get clear here pretty easy. Not quite. Almost. Or almost only got some horseshoes and hand grenades. We're not playing with either at the moment. But Gibney will lose out big time here. Did not get turned down in time for turns 1 and 2. And gets cleared all the way through turn 2. So Denny up to 7th. Christina Ryan still in touching distance in that 6th spot as they now focus their attention on David Smoot Jr. Remember, Dale Markowski needs to come down pit lane. He's 3rd at the moment. Jimenez closing in to about a 2nd. Christina Ryan on the charge. She is the fastest on the racetrack on the lead lap. Brady Smith is faster, as he should be, 31.5 for Brady Smith. He is on the freshest tires in the field, having just made his 2nd pit stop. But, huge but to that, he's not on the lead lap. He's got to get his lap back first, and then we'll see if a caution comes out that racks the field back together. Gibney trying to stay on the heels of Alfred Denny. You saw Brady Smith just back there, that 95, getting around Bailey Thompson. Not for position. That is just Brady Smith on his charge, trying to get a lap back here and hoping that he can gain something out of this. Jimenez is closing in on Markowski, who needs a pit stop. Henderson catching up to Mark Parker. Still battle for the 10th spot. And I think Henderson's going to get through pretty easily here. Gets around Parkhurst, and does he get clear? Yes, he does. Out of turn 2. Henderson makes that pass. Pretty textbook on the 32. And Markowski's in pit lane. Now it spins! Markowski in the 33 spins on pit lane. And that hurts quite a bit. Jimenez the 3rd, Smeal the 4th, Christina Ryan top 5 at the moment. This would be her 4th top 5 in 6 races. This would be her 5th top 10. If she can hold on to it. Smeal is in touching distance. Jimenez not far away. Christina Ryan, a race winner this season in Atlanta, could find the podium once again. And she's one of the few. It's between Christina Ryan and Eli Sasek trying to do the Bluegrass Double, racing the ABN Champ Car World Series tomorrow night here in Kentucky. Brady Smith unlapping himself to these two. They both know that he's a lot quicker. There's not a lot of sense in battling for him. Christina Ryan drops in the slipstream of the 95. Looking for 4th. Had 4th at the line. Smeal trying to drive the long way around, trying to stay on the quarter panel of the 80. And they'll be side by side into 3 and 4, where he's going to have a better chance of holding on to that position. Christina Ryan drives in deep and gets clear. Christina Ryan to P4, trying to hang on to the coattails of Brady Smith for that slipstream, that draft. If she can hold on to it, it'll help string her towards the 11 in that battle for the podium spot. As the laps wind down. We are approaching 20 to go and not too many laps. Coming to 23 to go. Five seconds the gap between the 80 and the 11. We believe that's the ceiling for the 80, getting to third. If you can grab Gaiman, that's a bonus. Christina Ryan, 6-lap fresher tires than the Gibney Racing Division trucks. She's passed 2 of them. 2 to go. June Jimenez in the 11 came down pit lane on lap 55. Ryan on lap 59. The GRD cars on lap 53. They split this race right down the middle. Denny came down pit lane on lap 58. He is also trying to pull in and try to grab a top 5 and be his first of the season. He's got a couple top 10s. This would be his third. But he doesn't have a top 5 yet in the Challenger Series this season. He is 1 spot away from it, but that is 2.7 seconds away. Bailey Thompson also in that conversation. Blake Henderson's trying to close into that conversation. He has been having his hands full of Mark Parkhurst and potentially Blue Jay in that battle for 9th. Christina Ryan is closing in. 4.7. Catching up, that is to Wesley Worley, the 13, who is not going to give an issue to the leaders. He knows where he's at on the racetrack. He knows his battle's not with them. Wesley Worley's objective was to get track time, get experience, learn some things. He is newer to the iRacing service. He's had a couple rocky races, but he's had a quiet, clean race tonight, and that's been very helpful for him. He's got a good team to learn from and improve with. Sitting in the 17th spot at the moment. As Ryan pulls away just a little more from Davis Mule Jr. The pace has plateaued between Jimenez and Ryan. Jimenez trying to make sure that podium is out of reach for the 80. Thompson getting around Kevin Gibney Jr. Anderson's still pretty far away from that conversation at the moment, but Gibney down to 8th. Thompson to 7th, Denny in 6th. And the teammates might be getting ready to spar with less than 20 to go. Three trucks in this fight. Gibney the furthest back. Denny trying to hold on to the 6th spot, but also trying to close in on Davis Miller Jr., who's been trying to stay with Christina Ryan the best that he can. I think the Ghost might have been giving up on that now. For Denny, Christina Ryan was his reference point. Getting around here at Kentucky Speedway. She pulled away, and he couldn't keep up. Dustin Hall with the fastest lap, sitting in 15th at the moment. Also a lap down right now. Brady Smith got ahead of him on those fresher tires and will pull away. He's not far from him lapping himself, but we are at 15 laps to go. So if something were to change, it would have to happen pretty quick. Denny, Thompson, Gibney still under a blanket for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Henderson and Parkhurst, they are battling They have left Blue Jane backwards a little bit. This is 9th and 10th on the racetrack, so a couple different battles on the racetrack at the moment. As the laps wind down, Josh Susie keeping a 1.5 second advantage over Gaiman. Trying to grab race win number 3 on the season. Denny and Thompson and Gibney all still together. Lap traffic incoming. See if it's a factor that it is Wesley Worley, who the leaders have already dealt with in this race. They won't need to deal with him again. Parker's right on the bumper Henderson. And here goes Parkhurst. Side by side they go. Henderson on the outside lane defending, and defended well. Keeps Parkhurst in 10th, keeps him at bay. But Parkhurst gave it a really good shot. You'll have to wind it back up and give it another go. Thompson's not quite been able to hold on to Alfred Denny. Alfred Denny's hold on and has found a little bit more pace in that 21 truck late. Likely will not be able to catch up to Davis Muir Jr., who sits 3.3 seconds up the road. Jimenez, on the other hand, might catch up to Josh Gaiman here, closing in little by little, inch by inch. Even spacing between the top 3, and that spacing is decreasing. Could be a battle for second. This could get spicy with less. Now we're at 10 laps to go. Only 3 retirements in this race, only 1 caution. Smith tags the fence, trying to unlap himself. And here comes the battle of Markowski, who has even fresher tires, and here they go. Pass for the race lead. There it goes. Not for the race lead. That's for 14th. Markowski around Smith. I do wonder when Markowski gets to Jimenez, if Jimenez is going to try to just follow Markowski and close the gap. The race leaders are within a second. Susie and Gaiman coming to 8 to go. Less than a second apart. Jimenez just a second further back. The gap has closed. Under 2 seconds. Covers the top 3. And Christina Ryan also closing in on the race leader. Not closing in on Jimenez. Jimenez has found a little bit of pace late. But here we go. We're going to have a bite on our hands. Susie, Gaiman, Jimenez, top 3. Just as it was in Fontana, we might have a 3-way battle for this race win in the closing stages here in the ABN Creative 250. Anderson's lost the spot to Parkhurst. Was trying to hold on to it. Parkhurst did rally back and get around him for that 9th spot. Henderson in 10th, 2.6 clear of Blue Jay. Thompson trying to catch up to Alfred Denny here to put out a challenge late. 3-way fight at the front of the field as the laps tick away. Markowski also in the conversation. Jimenez not going to challenge the 33. Going to let him go in the turn 1 because she wants that draft. She needs the slipstream. Markowski's got it. And it's going to help. Gaiman within half a second of your race leader as they approach 5 laps to go here in Kentucky. Susie leads Gaiman and Jimenez. with Ryan in fourth, Davis Meal holding on to a top 5 at this particular point in time. 5 to go. And this is where the fun begins. Four to go. He might have stagnated. Was pushing really hard. And the thing is now Susie has a little bit of slipstream as well. That was from Eli Sasek, who moves out of the way. Markowski has left Jimenez behind. It did not help Jimenez at all having Markowski in front. If anything, more damage. Markowski gains a spot on Sasek. So Markowski to 13th. Sasek to 14th. 3 to go. 4.5 miles here in Kentucky. Josh Gaiman was going to give it a pretty solid go. Gaiman won at North Wilkesboro. Susie opened the season with a win in Daytona. Grabbed a second in Las Vegas. Looking for a third and another mile and a half here in Kentucky. 2 to go. 3 miles in the tank. Gaiman's within 4/10. He has closed in so much over the last 10 laps, but it may not be enough. How much does Markowski make an issue here? First truck a lap down. Not a whole lot for him to gain here. Gaiman just not as good in 3 and 4. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics. Out of turn 2 for the last time. Jimenez did close in on Gaiman a lot. It's going to be 3 cars under practically a second through 3 and 4. But the pole sitter will defend his crown successfully. Josh Susie grabs his 3rd win of the season. He wins in Kentucky. It's a 1-2 for Gibney Racing Division. And June Jimenez on the podium once again after winning in Fontana, finishes 3rd here in Kentucky. Josh Susie, your winner here in the Bluegrass State. A phenomenal job for Josh Susie here tonight. Davis Smith Jr. will give him a congratulatory little wave by there. Josh Susie gets to celebrate. Polish victory lap for Josh Susie tonight, as he gives it a solid go. Third race win of the season, extending his lead in the championship standings. Results on your screen here from Kentucky Speedway for the ABN Creative 250. Susie from pole position. Not the Grand Slam we saw last night by Rudy Valentin in Sonoma, but a good result, impressive nonetheless. Josh Gaiman in 2nd, June Jimenez in 3rd. We'll hear from all 3 of your opponent finishers here tonight. Christina Ryan in 4th, Davis Muir Jr. in 5th. Christina Ryan also finishing where she started, as did Jimenez. So the second row, consistency has been important there. Christina Ryan on an alternate strategy there. Just couldn't close in on the 11 at the end. being kept at arm's distance there. Alfred Denny, another top 10, is third of the season after starting 14th. I think he'll take 8 spots gained in the top 10 here, 6th in the Bluegrass State, a track that's not typically been kind to him in his HTL career. Bailey Thompson, 7th. The birthday driver finishing top 10, 10 spots gained tonight. Kevin Gibney Jr. in 8th, ahead of Mark Parkhurst and Blake Henderson, finishing in 10th position here tonight. Byron Jones, 11th. Disappointing for him. He started this race 5th, had pace. Just couldn't find the long run part of it. Blue Jade in 12th at the end of the running tonight. Dale Markowski, first car a lap down, in 13th. Had pace all night long. Alternate strategy did not pan out for him. He'll finish 13th ahead of Eli Sasek. Brady Smith, the Ascent Racing drivers, will be looking to forget Kentucky Speedway. For Sasek, be hard to do. He's back here again tomorrow night for the ABN Champ Car World Series, ABN Bluegrass 300. Dustin Hall, 16th, also a lap down. Did not have an alternate strategy, just didn't have long run pace in that truck tonight. Wesley Worley in 17th, the last finisher, ahead of Dakota Osborne, Casey Ellis, and Ryan Moutre. Podium interviews conducted courtesy of Henderson Graphics. NASCAR quality without NASCAR prices. Whether you're winning real life in ARCA, or whether you're wanting to impress, whether you're racing in leagues, racing in officials, whether it's Cup, O'Reilly Series, trucks, late models, ARCA, anything in between there, they've got you covered in a pretty big way. But we do have interviews to conduct, so let's go ahead and get into it. And let's go ahead and let's start, if we can, with our third place finisher here tonight. June Jimenez did a fantastic job. Ultimately, it's equaling a starting position here. Third place at the start, third place at the finish, and a journey in between. June, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Walk us through that race. That was a pretty interesting one here tonight.
I put in, I think, when I saw what my right front tire was at the end of the first stint, it was 34%, and that makes a lot of sense. And I think that was that's maybe been the story of the series at Cookie Cutters, where car's a little bit tight and you have to manage the right front a lot. I thought it was really fun. The first stint had to battle the people on tires and then get back around them and tried to get around Josh Gaiman there at some point. And I think if I'd finished the pass, I maybe could have had a shot at Josh for the win there. But yeah, he ended up getting back around me. My tires fell off at that point, and there was a lot of little things that I could have done better in the race. But at the end of the day, I feel like Josh Susie definitely led us a little bit back into the race. So I don't know that the final margin is exactly what it would look like, but I had a lot of fun and it was great experience.
3 starts, 2 podiums, a race win last week in California, Kentucky Speedway, another podium, finished first. Susie finished third last week. Inverted positions here tonight. Kansas coming up, another mile and a half coming up next Tuesday. How's the feeling going in there? It's a mile and a half the next couple weeks. Kansas, Charlotte, and then Talladega, your first plate race in HTL coming up here after July 4th weekend. The pretty good gauntlet of races, and then Darlington, a fan favorite, a driver favorite for most everyone. It's a fun lineup of races. What's the Love Truck feeling like as we head into this late June, early July stretch?
I'm still focused on making up points, and so I think cookie cutters are maybe my strength. So excited about Kansas. Darlington's a little bit sketchier, but I think we'll also have decent pace there. I'm a little bit scared of Talladega. I feel like here at the 11 truck, we kind of pride ourselves on finishing well by keeping the car out of trouble, and I've had a 0x all the 3 races that I've ran, and so I'm hoping I can keep that up at Kansas, but I'm a little bit doubtful that will happen at Talladega. It's not always in your hands, and so we'll just have to hope that we get the strategy right there, that we get some luck, and that the points cushion we build up at Kansas and Darlington is hopefully enough to keep us in the chase if anything a little bit crazy happens at Dega. But I'm cautiously optimistic about the next few weeks.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see how these next few weeks play out in this run towards the chase for the Challenger Series championship. You were in that conversation well and truly, especially with results like this, a first and a third the last two races. Hopefully more to come from that 11 truck. Before we let you go and obviously let you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Always fun seeing that 11 truck on the racetrack. You've been here a short time and you've already made pretty good impressions all the way through. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to shout out HTL again. Two cautions the two cautions the three races that I've been here. Two cautions total. So that's really shows you the quality of field we have, and again the amount of like very close racing and lots of give and take that we give each other. There was a little bit more contact this race. I think at some point I unfortunately got into David Smeal trying to get around him, and so apologies for that. But yeah, thank you to HTL for hosting this series. Thank you to ABN for a wonderful broadcast that I'm always very excited to show to my friends and to listen back to. And shout out to Missile Motorsports.
A phenomenal job, June. Congratulations on the third place finish tonight. A race win in Fontana, a third place here in Kentucky Speedway. We'll see June Jimenez again next Tuesday in Kansas Speedway. June, congratulations, and well, I know we'll talk again very soon.
Thank you, Carmen.
That was June Jimenez. A great job for her tonight. Third place in this race tonight. We move on to Josh Gaiman, one of the two doppelganger 31 cars tonight. Gaiman's being the more successful of the two. No surprise there. Hi, Kevin. I know you're listening. I saw you stream sniping earlier. That being said, 4 trucks tonight. It's a 1-2 finish for the team for GRD on a very important day where the team announced it was no longer racing in the Cup Series. A good result, a chance at the end, it looked like. Just not enough time. Was that how it felt in the 31 camp?
Yeah, the truck was fast pretty much the whole race. Getting stuck behind people was the absolute worst. But once I got up there behind Susie and got some clean air on the truck, it was definitely just super fast. Was a little tight on fuel, so kind of had to save there throughout the middle of the last run, and then ran out of time. Really didn't have the all-out pace on the long run to run them back down.
This track is difficult. It's the flattest mile-and-a-half racetrack in the U.S., at least on iRacing. We expected this race to be difficult. Tire wear was important in Fontana. Usually the flatter the track, the more important tire wear was here. Was that genuinely the case? And was Fontana good enough as far as learning what these new tires would look like with this new update that came out literally last Tuesday?
Yeah, it's didn't feel like they did too much to it, but it was definitely enough to be able to tell when you were pushing a little bit too hard, a little bit easier. So that was definitely nice to be able to tell if I was keeping tires on it or not, and it was a lot of fun overall. It's definitely not my first choice of place to go, but it's put on good races before, so it was a good time and good to learn it the new adjustment.
It's more mile and a half to the next 2 weeks, but quite different. The mile and a half's coming up here. Kansas, another track that everyone usually favors. We'll see how the tires handle the Kansas surface there. And then Charlotte coming up here. Obviously a big race in HTL. Charlotte, a big patriotic event typically. Can't get a lot different than how Charlotte and Kansas typically behave. What's the expectation going into those two races?
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's kind of just more of the same with mile and a half. Keep the tires on it and try to get the nose as in the free air as you can. Pretty much how almost every mile and a half is now. A couple here and there, you can be a lot more aggressive. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It's going to be a lot of fun seeing how this season progresses. Obviously, a lot of fun seeing you on the racetrack. We've seen you in the trucks a whole bunch. We've seen you winning these trucks a whole bunch. So being competitive, not a surprise. Before we let you go and let you obviously debrief with the team and enjoy the podium here in Kentucky, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on the second place tonight.
Yeah, shout out to all the guys and girls that race with us, with GRD and Triple S. It's been a lot of up and down for me lately, but it's good to always hop in a truck and I can immediately just pick it up and go and be fast. So looking forward to more races in these trucks, and going towards the end of the season, there's some really fun tracks there. Shout out to the admins putting this all together, and you for letting people see it.
A phenomenal job for Josh Gaiman. Hops into the Bluegrass State and grabs a second place immediately here. Hopefully we get to see again in Kansas and Charlotte, especially Darlington in 3 weeks' time as well. Some pretty good races you mentioned coming up here in the second half of the Challenger Series schedule. But congratulations on it, and hopefully we'll talk to you again a lot more. And I know we get to talk to you a lot in the High Octane Series, but hopefully we get to talk to you a lot more here on Tuesday nights as well.
Absolutely.
That was Josh Gaiman, the second place finisher tonight. A great job, a 1-2 for Gibney Racing Division tonight. All 4 trucks performing really well tonight. All 4 of them top 10 tonight. Gibney in 8th, rounding out the group here in that second 31 truck. Hopefully we get to see the 61 next time. That was Josh Gaiman in second place. We'll move on to the man of the hour, the 2-time former Cup Series champion, looking to become the first driver in HTL history to win in both the Cup Series and the Challenger Series championships. 3 wins in 6 races. Pretty impressive. Backing up that race win from Las Vegas in another mile and a half where tire wear was important. Check. 2 more intermediates coming up where there's tire wear that's going to be important, and the stage lengths are the same. Josh Susie, how are we feeling going into the mid-stretch of the season?
When you read it off like that, pretty good. Every track's a little different, but they're all important as to saving that right front and starting with track position, which we were able to do tonight, and being able to set your own pace and not get over pushed, which was one advantage of having Smeal being able to cycle behind me after that first and only caution. I knew he was on my strat, and he was just going to be doing what I was doing. So, that helped a lot.
Tire wear is key. We know that you're good at keeping the tires to you here, but it seemed like there was a little bit of a falter there at the end where the pace sort of began to cliff and began to fall away at the end. Ultimately, the top 3 ended up a second apart, very similar to how Fontana ended up a week ago. Were the tires beginning to go away, or was it just a matter of trying to just make sure or was it a matter of trying to help Gaiman stay ahead of Jimenez there? Was there a little bit of team game, or was it just the tires beginning to fall apart there?
No, I just started clutching going into one to make sure absolutely I had enough fuel. It was, I was going to be good, but if I had to pick up my pace too much, which I probably wouldn't have with the buffer I had, I would have been able to clear, but I just wanted to be absolute certain on the fuel. So I started clutching it going into one. And that's what really kind of backed up the lap times there around the last 10 laps. And then Gaiman got within, I think, like half a second, and I just kind of picked it back up to normal, and it was fine to the end.
Tire was going to be the name of the game. Only 1 caution tonight. I think we had... Were we caution free last week? I have to remember. I don't know if we had one or none.
We had one quickie.
Yeah, we had 1 caution early on. So very similar vibe here. Kansas coming up. It seems like there's a pretty good theme. We have 1 caution, and then the rest of the race is pretty good. That being said, Kansas, nothing like this racetrack. A lot more banking, and it's progressive banking at Kansas Speedway. What's the expectation going into that race? You talk about them being a little bit different. Same shape, a lot of different character at that racetrack, and we've seen you be successful there too.
Yeah, it's going to be a completely different monster with the progressive banking. Those that want to push early and acquire track position are going to have more affordability to do so, which is going to be extremely frustrating for how I like to run the races. We know how important clean air is here and how detrimental dirty air is. So that's going to be interesting to see kind of how that shakes out. You know, you're going to have your usual suspects that like to fire off quick. They're going to fire off quick and probably cycle near the front. And it's just a matter of hopefully not getting your right front burn up too much when they run their stuff out, and then they're just kind of hanging on your door, which is frustrating, but it's the nature of the beast. So yeah, it's a different strategy, a different mindset. Here, 1 and 2, it's almost single lane, and then you kind of have some options in 3 and 4. But Kansas, you're going to have options from the bottom to the top, depending on the speed differential and how much lap time fall off we have. So it's going to be a lot more cautiously defensive, I would say, to my normal approach. I think my aggression level is going to have to uptick just a little off the bat more than I would like, but we'll see. We'll be able to evaluate that in practice and how the pace is going and how it's fallen, and whether it's a day or night track. That's going to make a big difference too.
Well, I can confirm for you, this was the last nighttime racetrack for quite a bit. So expect midday, a Fontana level heat next week, and probably similar for Charlotte.
Wonderful. That should really spread out the grooves. I like that a lot.
That being said, it has been a driver's series all season long so far. We have to keep that going. Obviously, the 81 truck, when you put in the driver's hands, the 81 truck's pretty much at the top of the board, pretty much always. Before we let you go and let you celebrate your third win of the season, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Always fun seeing the racetrack, and especially not being able to see you on Mondays now, savoring every chance we get to see that 81 truck on the track.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. It's kind of unfortunate how that shook out, but you know, real life priorities are obviously more important than what we do here. So I'll still get to be here on Tuesday nights, which is awesome. And I want to thank everyone at SSS Motorsports. And I think we had everyone in the top 10 tonight, which is great. Even Gibney had a strong run with limited practice, so I'm happy to see him get the momentum going. If we could just get him into practice a little earlier and dial him in, he might have been able to fight for top 5. But regardless, it was great to see everyone in the top 10. I want to thank everyone that showed up tonight. Awesome race. Even if, you know, people are mid-pack and not enjoying the dirty air and everything, but just being able to have the one caution on lap 4 and then go the other 100 laps green, it speaks a lot to having quantity over quality, and it's a really good recipe. So I hope people don't spread the word too much about this series and we start getting the fields flooded and messing up the quality racing. But for what we have right now, it's really, really good. And I'd be saying that even if I wasn't contending up front and winning races. Love green flag running. So thank you to everyone that showed up, putting on a hell of a show. And thank you and all the admins and everyone who contributed to this series. And huge shout out for the broadcast. Love it. Can't wait to watch it back, see what you thought. And we'll try to talk to you again next week.
With a race as good as this and as clean as this, it's hard to complain. And we've had a lot of races like this. Next week, hopefully more of the same. As you mentioned, quality over quantity. And it's been, you know, case in point here, especially tonight. Josh, seriously, congrats on your third race win of the season. I know we'll talk to you a lot more this season, especially as we get closer and closer to those championship races later on this summer. But enjoy it, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Carmen.
That was Josh Susie, the race winner here tonight. And again, this is how things look. Their top 12, Josh Susie from pole position, did not grand slam it. Louis Valentin remains in rarefied air with Dustin Hall, the only two drivers that have ever done it in HTL competition in the major series. Josh Gaiman, June Jimenez, we talked to all three of them. They finished on the podium tonight. Josh Gaiman from 13th to 2nd, 11 spots gained. A great job for him tonight. Christina Ryan, Davis Miller Jr., top 5. Alfred Denny, and a top 6, his third top 10 this season. Bailey Thompson, Kevin Gibney Jr., Mark Parkhurst, Blake Henderson, your top 10 here tonight. Byron Jones, Blue Jade, missing out just barely on the results that they were hoping for. Dale Markowski, first truck a lap down. Eli Sasek, Brady Smith, Dustin Hall a lap down as well. Wesley Worley 2 laps down there at the end, but finishing this race clean on his own power with minimal issues. Step in the right direction for the 13 truck. Hopefully we get to see more of him in Kansas and Charlotte next 2 weeks. Always fun seeing him on the racetrack. He's got a bright personality, and he's learning quickly. Dakota Osborne, Casey Ellis, Ryan Moutre retirements in this race. The only 3 of the 20-car field. Pretty consistent group here on Tuesday nights. We hope to see everyone again next Tuesday. In the meantime, we got some stuff in between. ABN Champ Car World Series, not broadcasted, but it is open wheel. It is ABN's final Champ Car season before we move on to new projects. Kentucky Speedway, our home track tomorrow night. Can't wait to race there one more time in those Champ Car machines. On Thursday, the IndyCar Series races in Iowa for a doubleheader, and then we're back again on Sunday for the Winston Cup Series in Fontana. Next Monday, it is the HTL Cup Series from Phoenix, and that's going to be a lot of fun. First time in Phoenix in a couple seasons. Everyone's ready to go short track racing after being in Sonoma a week earlier. And then next Tuesday, we'll be in Kansas, keeping the mile-and-a-half racing going here in the Challenger Series. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, for ABN, and everyone here at ABN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Thursday. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. So long, everybody.